So after the release of Forza Horizon 4 with all its hype, DLCs, and the new gen consoles upgrades, is Forza Horizon 3 still worth it in 2021? What's up everyone and welcome to a new video. My name is Omar with Real Gamer Review, and today I'll be reviewing Forza Horizon 3 in 2021. Before starting the video, please don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and click the bell icon, as it really helps the channel to develop and deliver more relevant content for you guys. Without further ado, let's get right into it. Developed by Playground Games and published by Microsoft Studios, released back in 2016, Forza Horizon 3 is set in a fictional representation of Australia in an open-world environment. The gameplay world is expansive, twice the size of its predecessor in the series Forza Horizon 2. Forza Horizon 3 isn't just a racing game, it's a huge, varied playground full of things to do with cars. You compete in various events around the game's world, including various forms of races, time trials, drifting, and bucket list challenges. During bucket list challenges, the player is given a specific car and task. For example, the player may need to reach a certain top speed in the Ford GT before time runs out, and can also find billboards throughout the game world, which, when driven over, award the player with experience points or discount on fast traveling. Playground Games developed a formula here like no other. You will simply fall in love with the game from the very first few minutes. Unlike Forza Horizon 4, this game didn't have different seasons that changed every week. Instead, it had the good old dynamic day and night different weather conditions, which mainly had rainy and clear weather, but no snow except for the DLC under the name of the Blizzard Mountain, which had a lot of snow. We'll be talking about it later in the video. This time around, you are not only participating in the festival, but also you have some control over it, as putting in good performances behind the wheel earns you more spectators, allowing you to open new festival sites around the country. On top of this, there is a nice drive-avatar management element, which lets you recruit a team of star drivers to boost your points earning potential. It's a nice addition, but I honestly think it's slightly useless. As always with Forza games and their crazy number of cars in each game, Forza Horizon 3 has a crazy 350 plus list of different cars, between supercars, retro, muscle, and racing, with most of the non-car brands available in it. Next, we have the handling. As always with Forza Horizon games, it is not very arcadey as Need for Speed, for example, but it has a pretty good balance between arcade and sim racing style. Like, it hits the sweet spot between both types of racing games, leaning slightly more towards the sim style. So forget about the handbrake and the endless drifting that you do in Need for Speed, as you will be using your brakes a lot in this game. Explaining a bit more about where the game is set this time, as you might know, each Forza Horizon installment is set in a totally different country, with the exception of Forza Horizon 2, including 2 different countries at the same time. As I mentioned before, this time around Forza Horizon 3 is set in a fictional Australia, having a huge map that contains desert, forest, and a small city part. It is a pretty big map compared to Forza Horizon 2, both from a size perspective and the amount of races available as well. So you'll be getting a pretty good gameplay time with this game. The different characteristics of the surfaces you drive on are also pretty convincing, as every different surface feels different from a gameplay perspective, and it changes how the car handles as well. That also differs depending on the different weather conditions. Pretty good attention to detail from Playground Games. Another part in the game worth mentioning for fans of customization is the blueprints. Blueprints basically allow you to customize any event on the map with your own choice of cars by themes, car types, or even specific models. And mainly you'll be using it in creating different championship blueprints. And since we mentioned the customization, we mustn't forget the very detailed car customization features that this game has. Almost everything in the car can be customized and tweaked for your preference, and if you don't want to go into too much details, there is always the automatic customization option, where you mainly choose how much power you want to add to your car, and the game will choose the parts for you, and you just make the payment with the in-game currency. As simple as that. Also, you can choose visual customization that was created by other players and hit them with a thumbs up if you like it. Also, you have the famous barn finds that are famous in the Forza Horizon games, which are super cool hidden cars, usually hidden inside barns, and the game marks the area to search in for you. And if you find it, you keep it. So basically, when it comes to the gameplay part, this game contains tons of different content and different race types for every taste. It will simply keep you engaged for hours and hours if you are a racing game fan. After more than 4 years, this game still looks pretty good with one of the best graphics and visuals out there. Every detail in each different car is fine-tuned, literally to the point that you can see the screw details in the car tires. The visuals, lighting, and reflections are spectacular. Forza Horizon 3 uses a voxel-based global illumination system to calculate light bounces in real time, as per one of the game developers. This system uses HDR sky, other light sources, and offline generated occlusion data to work out which surfaces the light bounces onto. And not only the light, but you can see the world reflections in real time on your car hood. So basically, this game has the next best thing after the ray tracing technology. And at the time of the release of Forza Horizon 3, ray tracing was not as popular as it is today. Also, my favorite camera in this game, which is the cockpit camera, and here you can see the magnificent details that the game developers created in every single car interior to make it as good and as detailed as its counterpart in real life. Simply breathtaking. Another visual detail worth mentioning, as it's probably one of the best I've seen in a racing game, is the raindrops visuals on the windshield of different cars. It simply looks amazing, and it also physically moves on the windshield in a realistic way depending on the car movement in different directions. I just love it when developers care about those tiny details. The footage I captured for this video is from PC, but this game still looks spectacular on Xbox One and even better on the Xbox One X, as it got an enhancement patch to run on 4K resolution and enhanced visuals. Unfortunately, till the recording of this video, it didn't get a 60 frames per second patch like Forza Horizon 4, but honestly, it deserves one. So Microsoft, a patch soon please. The multiplayer has 3 main modes, which are online adventure. In it, you participate with other players in online events that have a total of 4 different races, which are similar to the single player races. Some races you can go as 2 teams of red and blue, and you get a certain amount of points depending on your finishing position. And the team with the higher points win. The rest of the races are very similar to the single player, and after finishing the event that contains those 4 races, you get to vote with the rest of the players on the next type of event to play. This mode is pretty simple and straightforward. Online free roam. This mode will simply put you on a map with other players online, and you can just drive around with them. Take on events or bucket lists, but mainly this mode is made to play it with your friends. I don't think it will be as fun playing it with other online players that you don't know. Online co-op. Our third mode, as you might have guessed from the name, is where you can play the campaign on co-op mode with a friend. A pretty straightforward mode as well if you fancy playing the game with a friend. So mainly the multiplayer has some good modes, but nothing extraordinary. Just your good solid online modes that you might find in most racing games. As for how alive it is in 2021, the online adventure definitely still has a lot of players. I didn't have any issues at all to quickly find a session to play in. As for the other 2 modes, well, those will totally depend on your friends. So first I want to talk about the Hot Wheels expansion. As before playing this expansion myself, I thought that it wouldn't be as fun as the regular Forza Horizon 3, as Forza Horizon games always tried to lean into the realistic open world racing game. So this expansion was a pretty bold move from the developers, as a lot of players were a bit skeptical when they first saw the trailers for this expansion. But honestly, after playing it, I loved it. Yes, it is not realistic at all, but the setup and the world they created for this expansion is so much fun. So mainly it is similar to the main game in terms of race types, with a few small additions, but the whole setup is like a giant roller coaster track in an amusement park. It also has a few additions of new cars, which some of them are made specifically for that setup. I won't be talking a lot about this expansion as it needs a video of its own, but definitely a great one. As I mentioned before, Forza Horizon 3 doesn't have any kind of snow in its weather conditions, so the developers decided to make a whole expansion that is full of snow and blizzards. Yes, they called it Blizzard Mountain. So it is a bit similar to the other expansion. It is the same game with the same type of races, but they added a few more different type of races and some cars for the snow terrain. Also, you have the option to fit snow tires in most of your previous cars from the main game. Yes, you can use your cars in both expansions if you like to. So this expansion is another great addition for the game, especially from a visuals perspective, as the snow in it even looks slightly better than Forza Horizon 4. Even Forza Horizon 4 didn't have any blizzards. As always with Forza Horizon games, you have the different radio channels that suit every taste between rock, pop, metal, etc, etc. And the songs in each of them are well chosen and they have some pretty good songs. Only issue is that I felt that the list is a bit short when it comes to each radio channel. You will be getting the feeling after a while that the songs are repeating kind of a lot, especially if you like to stick to one radio channel only. As for the audio part, Playground Games did an exponential job as always to portray each car sound exactly as its real-life counterpart. But without talking a lot about this part, I will leave you with a short clip to listen to it yourselves. Although I first played this game less than a year ago, but I was instantly hooked. Playground Games did a phenomenal job creating this game all around. From the great world they created, all the way to the tiniest detail in every car. I would dare even say that this is the best Forza Horizon game in the series, and I would definitely say that it is still worth playing and buying in 2021. So if you are in the market for a new racing game to add to your collection, then this one is definitely worth a place on your list. Alright, time to wrap this up. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video or you learned something, then leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.